Bill Press returns to visual radio. Hello, Bill.
Joe, it's good to see you again.
It's great to see you.
You know, I only see you when I write books, but I have to write more books, obviously.
There you go, and come to Boston more often.
Thank you.
Great crowd today here at the Harvard Coop.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good group. And friendly. I like that.
But a fear I have, Bill, is that this is great stuff, but the people on the other side seem to be like sheep. They're mesmerized. And you cannot talk to them about Bill Press, about Michael Moore, about anything that isn't, you must vote for George Bush.
Well, the way I see this country, it's like 45-45, right? You're right. The 45 on that side, they're locked, they're not going to move, and they're going to vote for George Bush, you know, no matter what happens. And 45% of the Democrats are inclined not to vote for George Bush. I wrote this book for them, to energize them, and to remind them why it would be so dangerous for George Bush to win a second term. So this is, first of all, written for the choir. But then we got that 10% in between. This is also written for them, the people who really don't know the difference between Bush and Kerry, who really don't know what George Bush has been up to for the last 4 years. I lay it out here, not personal attacks, just talking about his policies on the environment, on education, on jobs, on big spending, you know, on crony capitalism, right down the line on the war on terror, on the war in Iraq. Just the facts, and I think if people read this and see how bad this guy has been in the White House, they won't give him another 4 years.
No, it's great the way you've put it in here. It isn't a personal attack, but it's pretty frightening reading it. I think page 115, the deficit, kind of says it all. If people could just get that web page, or even Xerox your book if you didn't mind that one page, and just show people.
Yeah.
That's the frightening statistic. Carter, Reagan, and you see the deficit. Then Bill Clinton. How can these Republicans say that, you know, Bill's the problem?
They used to be the party of fiscal responsibility. They are no longer. I mean, they are no longer the party. They are. George Bush is the biggest spender we've ever had in the White House. John McCain says he spends money like a drunken sailor. Bill Clinton left this president with a $250 billion surplus.
Astounding.
Surplus. And George Bush has turned that into a $526 billion deficit. So, I mean, this guy has taken what was a very healthy economy and a healthy fiscal situation and just taken it right in the toilet. And people have to know the facts.
And the facts are here. It's nice seeing the liveliness of the crowd, too.
Oh, you know what? Everywhere I've gone, this is what's been so encouraging to me. Everywhere I've gone around the country, and that's Austin, Texas, Portland, Seattle, San Diego, Chicago, St. Louis, Sarasota, Florida, back to San Francisco, Los Angeles. Huge crowds, and people really, really energized. And you know what? They're hungry for information. They're hungry for ammunition that they can go talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends, talk to their family, and say, come on, we got to work, we got to get rid of this guy.
If Al Gore or John Kerry didn't want me reading this book, I wouldn't want to vote for them.
Well, I think John Kerry and Al Gore do want you to read this book. But
Right.
Now, I haven't...
But you know what I'm talking about.
I don't have their endorsement, but I wouldn't mind it. I did send John Kerry a copy of the book. And I've got to get one to Al Gore. But
my point was, of course, George Bush and John Ashcroft don't want us reading.
Well, they don't read, so why would they want you to read? No.
It's probably true.
I don't have any fear that George Bush is going to pick this book up and not like it, because this book is not called My Pet Goat. That's the only book that he reads, I think.
I think you're right. With the success of Michael Moore's movie, could something like this be put into a documentary, say, for public television?
Well, if you, I know you've seen Fahrenheit 9/11. I mean, I started calling my book tour actually Michael and Me, because when I saw the movie, there's so many parts of his movie that are parallel to the things that I talk about in the book. He talks about the war on terror. He talks about the war in Iraq. He talks about the deficit spending. He talks. I mean, there's just, it's almost, not quite, but this is almost the print version of Fahrenheit 9/11, without all the Michael's gift, you know, for entertainment and for filmmaking. This may be a little more, let's say, like a research book. But at any rate, we touch on a lot of the same points.
It's 9/11 without the ice cream truck. kind of...
That's a good way of putting it. Thank you. Yeah. Right.
It's fun to read, but as I was reading it, I was getting frightened that people aren't going to read it because, as I said, some of my friends who are on the quote-unquote right, oh, well, I don't have to see Michael Moore's movie. And to get them to even read this, well, you know, it's the same old stuff. That they have not even talking points, they just have this
Well, I would
thing.
just challenge them if they have an open mind, and some people, conservatives, like to brag that they have an open mind and liberals don't. So if you really have an open mind, just read the book, okay, and then challenge them to discuss and debate what's in the book. And I have not yet had anybody, I've had a lot of people disagree with the conclusion I come to, but there's nobody yet who has written anything or published anything to say that there's a factual error in this book. That I would argue, everything I claim here that George Bush has done that's bad, he has done it, and it is bad. So you'd make that challenge to your conservative friends, and I make that challenge to your conservative viewers.
It's there, folks. Here's the book. It's a good one. It's very important.
Thanks
For being on the show again, Bill.
Nice to see you again.
Same
Bush
here.
must go.